Food is one of the most central aspects of permaculture design. It's integral to every day of every person's life. We need to eat every day. So food holds a really big place in the picture of design within permaculture. And so how does permaculture address this huge topic of growing food? Basically, at its core, we're trying to understand how can we mimic the stability and the resilience and the abundance of natural systems. And so permaculture, in terms of food growing, asks the question of how can we design our gardens and our farms so that they function like natural ecosystems. So what we're trying to do here in these gardens, and come on in and I'll show you, is figure out how can we grow an abundance of food in a way that mimics the structure and the stability and the diversity of a forest ecosystem. So instead of just having one layer of plants growing like you would have in an annual vegetable garden, we've got multiple different layers of things happening. We've got strawberries planted in the understory, we've got chives, we've got an upper layer of Saskatoon berries that are just starting to get ripe. And then behind those, we've got our plum trees as the canopy layer in this little food forest. And so the idea is that a forest has so many different places for things to be living and growing and contributing to the ecosystem. A food forest mimics that, but instead of just having natural native species, we get to choose and influence what are the plants that are growing in the food forest. So we've got berries that are producing food. We've got, berries on the ground, the strawberries, the chives. We've got the plums that produce food. All of the different plants in this garden, in this food forest, are food producing, are also medicine producing. Some of them can provide useful materials that we can harvest from. And so this idea of multifunctionality, how can you work with species, growing plants that have not just one use, but actually a wide variety of functions, both for us and for the ecosystem. So all of these plants, they're feeding us, but they're also feeding the soil, they're feeding the insects, they're feeding the birds. In fact, I would say that they're mostly feeding the birds at this point because most of our Saskatoon berries disappear before they're even ripe. So yeah, we're feeding the ecosystem as we try to grow food for ourselves. So if you've been wanting to create more abundance and resilience and a more harmonious and productive lifestyle, growing food, harvesting water, creating your own energy systems, building stuff, and don't know where to start or how to put all the pieces together, then I invite you to come and check out the permaculture course that we're offering this season as we work through the process of understanding how all these different systems and elements combine together, how to integrate them into productive and harmonious ways, and how to do that within the context of the ecosystem and the landscape that we live within. Nice. Okay, thanks for coming in that last one, Tiger. Yeah.